Bonjour, welcome to my channel. My name is Alexsonia. If this is the first time that you see me, welcome. These are videos that I have been divinely guided to share with you here on YouTube because I've had a pretty incredible life with incredible things that have happened to me over the years, which started when I was 6 years old. So if you haven't seen any of these videos, you should check them out because pretty incredible the stuff that I've went through. And this is another one, but this one I swear I really was not looking forward to sharing it because this was so traumatic for me that this is my 5th attempt on trying to do this video because I just can't keep it together. But I'm gonna try again. This experience was after the angel had came to see me, and I think that was a big reason, I think one of them anyways, why this angel had visited me, because I don't think I picked an easy path, let's put it that way. And I think this was meant to help past lives that I've had as well as in this life. But if you know about past lives, you know that they're happening simultaneously. So because time doesn't exist, but that's a completely different video, and it's very hard to understand how things work. But with this experience, it was one of these days like where you wake up in the morning and then it's just like one thing after another, and nothing seems to go right. And this was one of these days. And I had been to the laundromat because I had had one of my CSI experiences. And if you've been watching my videos, you would know what a CSI experience was. If you know, you know. And I was coming back from the laundromat, and on the corner of my street was my store, but next to my store, right on the corner, was an architect studio. And there was this guy outside of their studio facing the building. And I am coming up the street, and then I saw him on the corner, and he was wearing a yellow Montclair jacket. And I was just thinking to myself, like, it's like 1,000 degrees outside. Why is this guy wearing a yellow Montclair jacket, you know? But that's what's going through my mind as I'm, you know, coming up the street and like about to turn. And I live on a one-way street, so there's cars parked on one side, and then I'm coming up and to turn onto my street. And the guy is on his phone facing the building, and his dog flew in front of my car, and I hit the dog. And I projected out of my body because this was just too much for me. This was like just too much for me. And I'm looking at the scene from outside of my body, looking down onto my car, and the dog is lying in front of my car. And I'm just seeing this. There's no reaction because I'm out of my body. And then I don't remember anything. It lasted like a few seconds, and then I came back into my body, and I was in shock. And I was like, just like, oh my God, I can't believe this just happened. The guy ran over, picks up the dog, starts freaking out, and I'm like telling the guy, come in the car, because my vet is like right there, like behind me, but I can't go behind because I'm on a one-way street, so I have to go all the way around. He comes in, like the whole time I'm like freaking out, and I'm crying, and I'm like, why weren't you paying attention to your dog? And like, you know, you're frantic, you know. We finally go around and we get to the vet. We come inside the vet office, and then the guy tells him what happened, and then my vet like examines the dog, and then he's like, I'm sorry, the dog doesn't have a heartbeat. And I mean, the guy collapsed to the floor. I'm in shock, freaking out. I go and sit in the lobby, and then I'm like, just like, I, yeah, I, this was the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. I was unconsolable. I mean, like, unconsolable. How did this happen to me? How could this happen to me? You know, like, I love animals more than anything in the world. Like, I mean, I've had 13 animals. I would have done anything for these animals. It's like pure unconditional love that I have, like, for animals, because I'm an empath. I feel humans, and you know, I don't have that with animals, right? Like, I just feel their pureness, and this was just the worst thing that could ever happen to me. And I was like, I have to go, I have to go, I have to go. And then they're like, no, no, you know, like, stay here, because like, you can't drive like that. I'm like, I have to go, I have to go. So I got into my car, I left. They have all my coordinates to reach me and everything. So I just like went home, I locked the door, and then I just broke down, and like, just couldn't believe that this was happening to me, you know. And um yeah, I did not leave the house, I did not sleep, I did not eat for 3 days. I was there's nobody, there's nobody that could say anything to me that would change what happened, right? No matter if they say it's not your fault, you know, there's nothing you could say to somebody that this happens to, you know. And you know, like, there's nothing you could say. 3 days later, at 8 o'clock at nighttime, I have a knock at the door, and I have a cop at my door, a police officer, and he wants to know everything that has happened. And then I couldn't believe that I had to, like, again say everything that had just happened to me, and I just couldn't believe that I had to say that, you know. And after telling him what happened, I think a couple days later, I got a letter at the door. I was being served. The guy was suing me, saying that I had like he said that I was speeding, and that that it was a crosswalk, you know, like where they have like that he was crossing the street, and that I was speeding, and then I had like you know, that had happened like as he was crossing the street. Everything he said was a lie. Like I said, he was standing on the side of the building, looking in the window of this architect, and not paying attention to his dog. And then I don't know what made the dog like you know, like cross the street for this to happen. And so anyways, so I have to wait 3 months for the court date once I was served these papers, and I had no idea what to do. I have never been to court. The worst thing that I've ever done was get a parking ticket, you know, like that's the only law that I know of that I had, like, you know what I mean? Like I've never been in trouble. I've never done anything like that, you know, like, so so I saw these this advertising. It's these ex cops that go to court for you to fight tickets for whatever. So I met with these people, and then so then they got to work right away on this case to, you know, like do all the things that they need to do to be able to represent me in court. And like I said, I've never been in trouble. I don't know anything about that, but yeah, I've my whole life I've never I've always I don't know how to say that, like you know, like police officers and stuff like that. Like I've always been like, I want nothing to do with these people, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that that goes back to like one of these experiences that I've had in one of my past lives, like where I was burnt to the stake. So to me, like government and stuff like that, like I don't have the highest regards, let's put it that way, probably because of this experience. So yeah, so yeah, now I have to go to court, and I can't believe that this is happening to me, like literally. Like I couldn't leave the house because, like I said, it happened on the corner of my street, and it's a one-way street. So how can I leave the house and not go through this all over again every time I come back onto my street, you know? So it took me 3 weeks to be able to leave the house to come back. And then that day when I came back, I relived it all over again. And I was just like, I just can't live like this anymore. I just can't live like this anymore. So I had made a decision to end it. I couldn't live like this anymore. And I had all these painkillers that I've had, like from my fibroids, and that I had on hand. And I decided that night that I said bye to all my animals, and yeah, I was, you know, I was ready to check out, right? So I went to my bedroom, I closed the door, and I took the pills, and then just sat on my bed, did my prayers, and begged the angel to come and get me. And it didn't come to get me. And I was the sickest I have ever been in my entire life. It was like again, like The Exorcist, you know, like it was not pretty. And I was still here, still dealing with the pain of what had happened, and this whole thing. So the next morning, Jay came back from work because he worked night shift, and he came back at the house and saw me lying there, and saw the pills, and saw the disaster that had occurred, and just lost it. And he just lost it. I'd never seen him like that, and I never want to see him like that ever again. And now he was destroyed, and you know, so he went out, phoned my mom, and my mother comes up from Quebec once again and comes and takes care of me for this time that I needed to get back on my feet. I had like left my job prior to, you know, because I never left the house for 3 weeks, and I didn't know when I was gonna ever leave the house again, so I just left that job. So then my mother comes up and took care of me, and you know, like all my friends, you know, like were trying to do the best that they could do to bring me back from what had happened, you know. And then I had the court date that was 3 months in the future from, you know, like just about 3 months. And so I had like made an application somewhere, and I remember my mom came with me, and they hired me on the spot, and I started working at this place. And then I finally had like the court date, and when we get to the court that same day, the lawyer who was taking care, or the ex-cop or whatever, the person who was representing me, he's like, don't worry about everything. He goes, we have found something, we found something, and they're gonna let you go, you know. So sorry about that. This is not an easy video, I have to say. And yeah, so he found a video. He found a video across the street from where the accident happened. On the end of my street, there's an old age home. And in the parking lot of the place, they had the video security cameras right there. And he got a hold of the footage and saw the whole accident. So he went in the chamber with the judge and whatever, and then they showed the video, and and then I was let go, because the whole proof was on the video that not only was he not crossing the street, he was, like I said, like facing the building, and then his dog, and we saw there was a squirrel, and the dog saw the squirrel and just ran, and I just happened to come at this time and hit the dog, and that there was no crosswalk, and all of that, you know, like. And then the guy was like really like you know, lying, and which didn't take away the trauma that I went through. And I found out that day that the dog's name was Gangster, of all. Yeah. So yeah. But this is where I changed my story from why did this happen to me to what do I have to learn from this happening to me. And that's where that seed popped into my head, and I changed my story. Because before this, it was always like, you know, I'm the victim. I was always the victim on everything, you know, like whether, I mean, literally, I've been betrayed by family, by friends, by coworkers. I've been through it, and you know, like I kept saying, like, why is this happening to me, you know? And then now I know, looking back, that all these people are my teachers, because all these people have helped me to understand that we come here for a reason, and we come here to learn, and we come here to learn whatever we need to learn. And these people are there because you have asked them to be there for you, to help you understand whatever you need to understand. So once I changed my story, and from why is this happening to me to now I can see that this is happening to me because I have something to learn from it, changed my life from that moment once I understood this. And it's not because I didn't read enough books, right? Like, because I know all of this, I've read all of this, but until you live it, you don't actually, it does not actually like ding, 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 you know? You have to go through it to understand all these lessons, because yeah, reading it and experiencing is completely different. So I am where I am now because of all the stuff that's happened to me, good or bad. And you know, like, I know that the little gangster, as awful as it is, had, you know, this was his time, and this was the time that was chosen to for me to learn this lesson. And once we understand death, that you know, that we choose the way that that we will go, it makes it a little easier to digest an experience like this. So this, like I said, was the 5th attempt to do this video because I completely lost it and I had to actually redo my makeup a few times. So this is enough for me for today. So like I say in all my videos, I love you and we are one. And once you realize where we are and why we come here, it just makes more sense, and it's easier to accept. So I love you and I see you in my next video. Bye.